Greetings and salvations, I'm Winthoff, Neverborn. This is the abyss that slumbers, and you're listening to Eldritch Rants. And we're having a rather late start this evening because of Russian hackers. I'm sure it's Russian hackers, and I think it's no coincidence that this is episode 84. Just add 1900 to that, and it's 1984. Russian hackers. Something like
Four, I
that.
got 88.
Oh, yeah, that too. Another 4, you got 88. Ah. So, hey, it's Friday, and we got a new guy here. It's David Banner. I believe he turns into the Hulk periodically.
Fucking, I love that. I love that. What was it? 60s, 70s show. Yeah, that's why my name's not. I think it was. I think it's Bruce Banner now, but like originally it was David Banner. But since then they just changed the name.
I think it was to
So
appeal to the Australians by calling him Bruce. Bruce.
Don't let me down, Bruce.
Bruce. Any rate, and as you
I've
can see by the sign that's up on the screen, is that gamers have 2 jobs. So if you're an employer, understand that we're coming up on a time period where gamers are going to have to take time off from work to play those games. Those games are not going to play themselves. You know, you may not see them, but they're there, man. So have a heart and make sure they have a job to come back to after they finish playing all those video games this upcoming video game season. Just a little public service announcement there. At any rate, anything you guys want to rant about before we get into the ranting topics?
Nah.
I mean, there really hasn't been much outrage as of lately. No, nothing rant worthy in my opinion. I guess you could say I was kind of disappointed with the Trump baby balloon. I mean, it was supposed to be this big balloon that would hover all over all of, what was it, in London?
Yeah.
And it was just so fucking tiny. It's like,
I'm going to be honest. I thought it was cute as hell. If I was Trump, I would have drove out to wherever that balloon was. I would have gotten out of my limo. I would have looked at it, and I would have just freaking doubled over laughing. And I would have laughed so hard. I wouldn't have even said anything. I would have just started laughing until I was like, I couldn't breathe. And I was just like, and when they tried to pull me away, I'd bat them away just so I could point at it and laugh some more until I was like red in the face. And I wouldn't stop. I would just keep it going because the crowd would then riot. They would riot that Trump was daring to have fun. They would try to kill him. It would be amazing. But that's the way to solve it because I'll be honest, it looked cute. It looked like a big cute balloon. You know?
Yeah, I was expecting Sadiq Khan to be a massive hypocrite and say, no, you can't have the Sadiq Khan balloon, but then turn a blind eye to the Trump one.
oh yeah, that's another thing. Uh, any of you watch Tim Pool?
Oh yeah, I watch him. I haven't seen him in the past
He
day or two though.
he uploaded a video today talking about how uh how when Sadiq Khan approved the Trump balloon, he said, well, of course we're gonna have the Trump balloon. Can you imagine if we limited someone's freedom of speech based off that the fact their feelings were hurt? Like, do
So,
I even need I say more? A fucking London mayor.
yeah, then you should have asked him, yeah, well, explain fucking Lauren Southern then.
Yeah, and Tom, it's a bit more complicated, Tommy Robinson, but I definitely believe he's a political prisoner of sorts.
He is, absolutely.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, we're going to be talking about that later. I'll bring it up when it comes up. But Trump declared this week. What was it? Imprisoned Country Week or something? Captive Nations Week, where the entire world is to remember, all those nations out there where people are captive of their own countries, like Canada and the UK and any country in the EU. We need to remember those captive nations and hope someday that they are free.
Yeah. There is one small rant that, I wouldn't mind sort of at least touching on. It's got everything to do with Australia's gun laws and what's happening now. A couple of weeks ago, there was this guy called John Edwards. He was an accountant. And I'm sure they said he was a firefighter in the RFS somewhere along the line. I swear I recognise this dude from somewhere, right? So he went through a divorce with his wife, and she's obviously screwed him over so friggin' hard it's not funny. And she's got the kids and all this kind of stuff. And he decided that he didn't want to be sort of led around by the nose by this Sheila who's already screwed him over. So he went and got a gun and shot both of his kids and then committed suicide. Now, everybody's just ignoring the elephant in the room and just instantly blaming the big bad man for not being, moral enough to not shoot his bloody kids. But I'd put it to everybody that he'd been left with zero bloody options left because everyone was just siding with the woman. Um, and so, as a result of all of this, now all men in Australia can't be trusted with guns, especially if they've been in a relationship previously and then if they've got kids or anything like that. And if you go for a firearms license nowadays, they're actually going to go through all of your ex partners and ask their opinion on whether you should be allowed to have a gun or not. And of course, they're going to have the full weight of whatever opinion they have, and whatever they say is going to be what's been gospel. So, as if you're going to get a unanimous okay from all of one person's ex partners. So basically, they've just made a bullshit carte blanche rule to deny any man a gun in Australia.
Wow,
That's
if
what's just
you wanted to kill relationships with women, you succeeded.
Yeah, but never mind the fact that the poor silly bloke has been shat on by the courts. He's been let down by his lawyers. He's probably been fucked over by the cops, and all the power has been given to the fucking woman, and she's just gonna fucking belittle, berate him, fucking annoy, harass, and all this kind of shit. Scum the bloke out of fucking money, send him friggin' broke. But let's not sort of look at that. Like, if we didn't fuck over blokes that bad, maybe they wouldn't resort to taking drastic steps like that. But no, 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 no. No, we've got to protect the little girlies because they're allowed to get into these troublesome situations. Remember, they chose this fucking bloke. But yeah, can't bring up any of that because all men are evil.
No, I see your point. I mean, I understand judging this guy by his actions, but you can't judge everybody by one person. But the fact that
Well,
you've started doing that, it's just one more reason to never date a woman. I mean,
Well, it's the kind of the argument that I've got with what happened with me last year is that absolutely no one listened to me. They allowed the other party to do all the wrong things, even break the law on several occasions and all this. They completely ignored all of that and they fucking crucified me. And the last bastion of where I was allowed to fucking defend myself, I was told to shut up and just cop it or else you'll piss the magistrate off. So, what recourse do I have left, especially now that I'm in a vulnerable position with a good behaviour bond and she can just make up any old bullshit and I'll know for a fact that the cops will just flat out just listen and believe, not fucking listen to a word I say, I get screwed over. I'm of the opinion I shouldn't let the bitch have the ability to fucking call the cops next time. Maybe if someone stood up for me and sort of looked into the situation, went, actually, yeah, nah, we can see where she's lied. Fucking, I wouldn't have that opinion, but I've been pushed into that opinion. I'm not going to do anything about it, but fucking, that's where my thought process went.
no, I see your point. Um, no, it's a recurring theme. Although that's the most extreme one I've ever seen here in America. It would never fly. You know, guilt by association is basically what you just described. Oh, oh well. Anything else you wanted to rant about that topic?
Nah, that's all.
Alrighty, anything from Dave?
Uh, no, I think you guys said things pretty clearly. I mean, the courts and everything are biased, and you look at the fucking laws here.
Mm,
They're all they're all in the favor of the woman.
yep.
And I don't really have much else to say. I'm not really an expert, but I've heard some of the arguments from the MRAs, and I agree with them. So
I think unfortunately the result is going to be pretty consistent, where men are just going to increasingly go, "Why should I be with a woman?" what
Well,
advantage is there for me? And they think that that's not going to have any big deal. Only the loser men are going to do it. And it's going to be, no, the rich men are going to be the ones that are going to do it. And you're going to start seeing weird contracts before you start dating. I mean, we all joked about it, but I've been hearing about it, how they have dating contracts now. And I'm like going, that's pretty sane. They got prenups. How about predates? But that's just me.
another silly, li-
Go ahead.
another silly little aspect about it too is that everyone's carrying on out here as if like if we ban the guns, then that'll stop people from killing at all. You know, and this is also a week after a very public case of a girl in Victoria, Udrisi Dixon, decided she was going to go walk through a dark park in the middle of the night, and she got raped and murdered. Now she got her head bashed in. She was punched to death. So what are we going to do? Ban fists? Because they completely overlooked that aspect of that. But no, take the guns away, then people will stop dying. It's
Right, right.
stupid.
You can do a whole fucking just your bare hands. You can punch someone in the jugular and they die. You can choke them to death and they die. You
I
can
We've actually
you
we've
can
actually
poke
just
you can poke their fucking eyes out. You know,
I hate to say it, but
grab
guns actually are
your
a big
fucking
equalizer.
Mm.
what's up?
Women should have more guns. If you want to be safer, give women more guns. Don't get rid of guns. Give women more guns because trust me, in a
They'll have a right to
hand-to-hand
38.
fight, let's be honest here, women don't have as good a shot at protecting themselves in good old-fashioned fisticuffs. I mean, the statistics don't lie. Women start fights with men more. It's
It
just
used
that
to.
when men enter the fight and fight back, the women lose.
Mm. Yeah, it used to be an NRA slogan. Women should support gun rights because no one ever raped a 38.
This is true. Anyway, let's move on to some weird stuff. Four suspects in assault at Applebee's as waitress identified. Apparently, a waitress brushed up against a woman and her three friends sitting at Applebee's. And then so these four women jumped up, beat, punched the waitress, and then stabbed her with a steak knife.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah, one of the diners was sitting with her leg out in the aisle. And I've seen the woman. It probably because she was so fat she didn't completely fit in the booth. And you know what? I hate to point this out because it's not in the pictures, but this was four angry black women on a white woman.
I was going to
I was
ask.
gonna ask myself because speaking of black, not to derail the conversation here, but you got that fucking black lady and what was it, Cali, that beat that 91-year-old Mexican man, and then you got the Young Turks, saying it's a republic, white
Oh,
trash, Republican, racist.
yeah, oh
That
yeah, and
beat
it turned out it was one of their own.
Yeah,
It was just some
exactly.
privileged bitch who thought she had every right to, beat the shit out of this 91-year-old man because he was oppressing her. I mean, that's really what was happening. This was a woman being victimized by this 91-year-old Mexican who was standing there. They get delusional. They get this victim mentality built up to the point, and because nobody ever actually harms them, when somebody actually comes along and they even vaguely think it's harming them, they explode. These are just more violent examples of Big Red. Remember Big Red?
Mm.
The woman with the
Doesn't
really
ring
red
bells.
hair who screeched at that one guy who was advocating for men's rights.
Ah,
Is that
yeah.
the famous SJW with the glasses and the
And
red hair?
the bright red hair, yeah, Big Red. It's the same. It's the same thing. They go around thinking they're oppressed. Nothing actually happens to them until they see something that finally justifies their oppression. After all, this white woman brushed up against my leg. She must have been black shaming me and fat shaming me by brushing my leg. Except for the fact that she just kind of walked along. So what'd she do? Stole the tip money and then stabbed her with a steak knife. I mean, holy fuck. What the hell were you thinking? Somebody brushed up against you so you get to stab them? This is what
Maybe
Punch a Nazi does. This is where
Maybe
Punch
they-
a Nazi takes you.
I
Maybe
feel
they thought the maybe
Go
they
ahead.
thought the waitress crop dusted them.
I feel like blacks, for the most part, are illogical and they are emotional. If you look at a lot of these manipulations by the media, you'll have some black thug, evading arrest. He's carrying a pistol, trying to, resist arrest or attack an officer. They get beat down, or they get tased, or they get shot. It lands up, front page New York Times. It's all over CNN. Then you got these hardcore black neighborhoods that go out and riot and protest. And a good example of this is back in '92 when you had Larry King, and he was evading arrest. He got shot by tasers. It didn't do nothing. I mean, the whole thing was a fucking mess. And then I believe in California, I don't know which part of California it was, but the scene of like, holy shit, '92 riots were crazy.
Yeah, the LA riots.
Well,
LA riots.
I'll agree with you up until a point. I don't think it's all blacks. I think it's blacks who have really, really swallowed the social justice, Black Lives Matter, liberal pill.
Yo.
Like, because I know a lot of black people who are conservative here in central New York, and they are not emotional.
Oh yeah,
They are the most. If they're a black person and they're Christian, it's a whole other ball of wax. They're like, oh no. Like this one woman I know who's black, she's like, nope, it's my husband's job to do what a man's got to do, and I'm like, wow, like
yeah,
you didn't just take the red pill. You went all the way down to like reactionary, because that some of her statements make me feel a little uncomfortable in how sexist they are. But you know what? I can't blame her. She's like, this is the will of God. And I'm like, okay, it's how you want to live your life. I'll give you that. I'm not going to hold it against you. But there's a lot of really conservative black people here in central New York.
Oh yeah, and I have a therapist that's like, he's black, he's in the '70s. He is a hardcore. I wouldn't say hardcore, but like he's a Trump supporter, right? And he disavows like white nationalism and stuff like that. But then one time he asked me, "What would you do in regards to immigration if you were president?" I went, "I don't know," And then he gave his 2 cents, saying that he would block migration from Africa and Mexico, and saying that he would allow migrants from, like, let's say Sweden and Denmark and whatnot. And he says the reason why is because these are low crime areas. And I was just like completely blown away, because like if you were a white guy and you were saying this shit, they'd call you a fucking fascist.
Yeah, but they'd call this guy an Uncle Tom or a honky or a bloody a fucking cracker lover or some shit like that.
A honky, a black and a honky.
Well, and personally, in my opinion, the matter is we have been strip mining the best and the brightest out of Africa and South Africa for decades. And that's why they're shitholes. Okay, think about it. You got somebody who's born in Africa, he gets together $6,000, crosses a freaking desert, doesn't get pressed into slavery and like this open slave marts in Tripoli, manages to find somebody to give the $6,000 to, gets halfway across the Mediterranean, thing sinks, somehow he makes it to shore. That's a man with some serious determination. If he was back in his home country, think what he could do for his own people.
Right.
We're taking the ones who have the get up and go, get up and leave. And that leaves only the stupid. The smart ones leave, the stupid ones stay, and their country goes down the shithole. But IQ is not, inherited. You can have two brainiacs, and you can have a really stupid children. You can have two stupid people and have a kid with high IQ. It's pretty random. So if we just force the countries to take care of their own problems, sooner or later it'll sort itself out. But it's not going to fix itself if we keep strip mining every professional out of every country throughout the rest of the world. And that really doesn't help America. I mean, we don't need them. We don't need another doctor. Okay, that back home they need another doctor, and that's my position. We're being incredibly racist with our policy of taking their best and brightest and leaving everybody else in squalor. But you say that around, they just go, "Oh, you're just making excuses." I said, "Really? What's your solution to fixing their homes?" You don't have a solution, do you? Your solution is to take pity on them and then to take, whoever's already got a degree from their home country and have them come here. Yeah. And then what? We're going to force everybody into slave labor? You are such bigots. But that's just me. Anyway, we digressed. Anything else on the 4 black ladies beating up a white waitress because she brushed up against her fat leg?
Yeah.
No comment. No comment.
Alrighty, loading up the next one. If it'll load. Okay, American conman poses as Saudi prince for 2 years, swindles millions from gullible businessmen. I love this. It's not somebody, it's not the Nigerian prince this time, it's the Saudi Arabian prince.
This isn't the first time that this has happened too. This actually happened to the English, like in the 1800s. The King of Siam or some shit like that. There's two or three blokes from Oxford who were renowned for playing pranks, and they actually did this twice, where they'd impersonated a fictitious king from a fictitious country, and they actually, fooled like the mayor, the politicians, everything, and the first time they only sort of realised that they'd been duped because when the end of this supposed royal visit, they didn't sort of go to an airport or a seaport or anything like that. They basically took a cab around the block, jumped out, and done a bolt. But the second time they did it, they actually got to get on one of Britain's brand new dreadnoughts, and at the time it was super top secret and all this, and no one could get on it and all this. But they had these 2 civilians just wandering around, being shown bloody everything. So yeah.
I love how the way that what he was finally done in by was that he ate bacon.
Mm.
So, you got to stay in character, my friend. You got to stay in character. Ah.
Foiled by bacon.
Bacon, is there anything you can't do? Moving on to Ariana Grande, who's apparently somebody big and important. I don't know. When I see this woman, I just want to smack the shit out of her.
She's a giant nipple, Areola Grande.
I look at her and I'm just, But what's the big fuss other than her latest single, "God Is a Woman," whatever.
Yeah, she's that singer that had that fucking shooting in a concert in London a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Oh, lost the picture.
Yeah, that concert was the bomb. I'm telling you.
Oh! But apparently the cover of her new album is her wearing nothing but purple pastel body paint over her nipples. And that's it.
Oh, she's covering the great nipples, the grand areolas.
Yeah, What is... How do you live with yourself when you're so vapid? That's what I want to know. Like...
Well, it could be worse. At least she's not trying to lick people at the back of the stage like fucking Miley Cyrus was. Or lick people at the back of the crowd.
That's true. That was some weird shit from Miley Cyrus.
Fucking masturbating herself with a giant fake finger.
Yeah, whatever gets you the clicks, I guess.
Yeah, but that'd have to be fucking embarrassing after she'd sobered up.
Well, moving on to Arizona. Arizona man arrested for trying to pull over troopers.
Yeah.
I love this one. This guy has a uniform as a rent-a-cop, and he started pulling over people and giving them tickets until he made the mistake of pulling over an unmarked police car for speeding.
Oh my god!
A couple of YouTubers got done for exactly the same thing. They were black fellas too, and they've pulled up behind this car and they've walked up to the door and they've chucked the badge in the door, took one look. Oh shit, sorry mate, no, we're only fucking it's only a prank. Yeah. They didn't see the funny side of it.
No, the cops usually don't see impersonating an officer of the court as funny. Oh,
can you imagine using that as a legal defense? Well,
I kind of can.
I can.
'Cause
It won't work, but I can
there,
see
there,
it.
there have been incidences that I've turned out to where police have given me elements of their uniforms, namely reflective vests and stuff like that. So as like I'd continue to be doing traffic duty, and technically wearing that vest that says police on it and has a police badge and all that kind of stuff is technically impersonating a police officer. But I had the grace of the fucking cops to do that, which is really weird. That's my grey world.
hmm,
Yep,
interesting.
I've impersonated a police officer with the full blessing of the cops.
Ah, well. Moving on to sci-fi. China claims to have invented laser assault rifle that can burn human skin from half a mile away.
First fucking Space Force, now this.
It's a it's an anime future, man. We're all gonna be living in speed lines. I
We're
cannot
gonna
wait
be
to.
living.
I cannot
We're
wait
gonna
to.
be living on Mars in 2030.
I want to upgrade. I want to upload my brain to the internet and then download it into a naked robot woman with camouflage skin who kills Chinese businessmen. That's basically the whole plot of Ghost in the Shell, by the way.
It's fucking funny because as you said, robot woman, you R2D2'd out then.
This thing is apparently it can fire a beam of energy that cannot be seen by the naked eye, but can cause instant carbonization of human tissue from up to a half a mile away. I'm not impressed. What I want is instant baconization from up to a half mile away. I want a laser that makes things turn into bacon because bacon can defeat Saudi princes and it's tasty to eat.
Hmm. And it prevents white people from crashing planes into buildings.
Apparently so, but these are to be given to the Chinese armed police. I mean, seriously. We are going to arm our police officers with laser rifles. I'm impressed.
I honestly expected this to come from Japan first.
Take this, Tyrone. Pew pew pew.
A lot of people are claiming that it's not actually happening and they're just propaganda stuff because China sometimes puts out weird shit that nobody ever actually sees. But who knows? I think this will be cool. You know, because it's only a matter of time before everybody has one if this is true.
Yeah, I can just see the meme for that now. It's a picture from, say, the original Star Wars when they're boarding Princess Leia's ship, and it's the stormtroopers, and the caption goes, "Stormtroopers be all like pew pew pew," and then underneath it's got a Chinese soldier with a laser gun, and he's like, "But Chinese soldiers be all like."
Oh my god, that was a great sound effect.
This is. You know, in my opinion, it'd be like, all right, you can take my gun as long as I get my, anthrax laser here.
So, like, well, the question does have to be asked. I mean, like the effectiveness of this laser, okay, can cook someone from a great deal of distance away, but the funny part about how lasers and shit work is that they're easily diffused and diffracted by things like glass. So will you still be able to take a headshot by someone on
They're
someone
using the
driving?
technology that I believe the United States uses where they send a guide beam first, which detects the distortions in the air and between it and the target. So it sends out the laser pre-warped so that as it goes through the air warps it back to a coherent beam on top of the target. It's how you can shoot a laser from the top of those carriers and blow up missiles because it checks to see how warped the air is. And apparently if it was glass or something that let light get through, it would work just fine through that as well. Sad part is I know all this and it's not from the article.
Well, yeah, well, that's where I'm getting at. Like, if it could go through just normal glass, it probably wouldn't take much to just rework the structure of glass that it would be able to diffract light better. I suppose.
Now the problem is that if you have tinted glass, that'll screw it up. If you have tinted glass, then it'll have to burn through that first. But if it's a true clear, if it's pure or mirrored glass, oh yeah, that'll be fun. because the mirror would reflect the guide beam to whatever it was going to hit on the reflection, and then it would adjust so nothing would happen to the mirror, but whatever was reflected in the mirror would get hit by the laser, and it would have a bad day. Ah, well. Any other thoughts? All right, moving on. Democrats, Trump should scrap Putin powwow. Yes, that's right. The Democrats still try to give Trump really bad advice, and they are continuously surprised when he does the exact opposite of anything they tell him. I mean, other than, somebody in the FBI tried to insult Putin by indicting 12 generals who will never see a day in American court, and thus they'll never have to actually prove why they indicted those 12 generals. Yeah, I don't see any reason why Trump shouldn't go talk to Putin. Any thoughts?
I just think it's a big nothing burger as always. There's been plenty of evidence to support the fact that this is all bullshit. And Rosenstein is really trying to ramp up. Is Rosenstein on Trump's side or Mueller's? I forgot. I think he's on Mueller's, if I remember correctly.
I can't follow anymore.
If according to what was it, a witness that came out recently about the Seth Rich murder, there was a fuck, don't quote me on this, but like the what was it? Some agency, I can't think of the abbreviations, but it was like this agency like was bragging about killing Seth Rich. Like there were these two agents that killed him, and Rosenstein was the one that like allegedly sent it out. It was crazy shit, but like I don't know if it's true or not. But like if it is true, it would explain why Rosenstein is like doing this right here, right now.
I imagine that what's happened is they never, ever, ever imagined in a million years that Hillary was going to lose. And they did all sorts of stupid shit. And now all of this is just to keep piling nonsense on top of nonsense until it's impossible to ever figure out what really happened.
Yeah.
Well.
It, like a wise black man once said, it's just a big nothing burger.
I'm with you on that one.
I don't want Trump to talk to Putin, because what if Trump actually succeeds and does the right thing and fixes all the problems? Well, shit, we can't have that, because then we'd be wrong about him. He's supposed to be such a massive clusterfuck, remember?
Yeah, I mean, here's the irony about the mainstream media when it comes to Trump. You guys make all these horrible predictions about him. And so when he does anything other than doesn't kill everybody, anything short of does not set the world on fire with nuclear weapons, he succeeds. You've set the bar so low that if he does anything where nobody dies, he wins. And then when he actually achieves something, he looks like he's a freaking god. And it's all because if the media just shut up about him and stopped talking about him for a couple of months, he'd explode. He'd implode. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take being ignored for 30 days. But since he is their version of crack, they're going to keep talking about him forever. And they feed him. They sustain him. He feeds off their life force. He is God troll. Well.
I got to give another thing to Trump too, which is something that I actually didn't think that he was going to sort of handle very well, and that was when he met Liz. He actually tried to. You could see that he was actually trying to follow the protocol. That he wasn't going to big note him. Say, fucking who's this? We're a big bad Americans and all this shit. He was actually trying to do the right thing and follow the etiquette and protocol and all that kind of stuff, which everybody was betting that he wouldn't, but he did. So very impressive.
He can be pretty classy when he wants to be, but he isn't, because he knows that it pisses off his enemies. And when you've already dragged him down as far as you have, he has nothing to lose. there's an old saying: a traitor has nothing to lose by committing treason. It's something I learned from my grandfather, who was apparently a gun runner during the Poland occupation by the Soviet Union. So, just a little word of advice I got from Grandpa. Anyway, moving on. Apparently, I forget who his name is. It's DeVos or whatever it is. Doesn't believe that promoting racial diversity in schools is a worthwhile cause. Basically, whoever's in charge of all these higher education in Trump's administration said schools are no longer required to promote racial diversity. He didn't say you have to go back to the way it was before. He just said we're not requiring it anymore, and there's no penalty if you don't. But the ACLU is like, oh my God, the government's not telling people what to do and controlling their lives. That's the part that kills me. The ACLU, they literally used to be about American civil liberties, and now they are literally working for fascists. They're horrible people. How did they when did we wind up in opposite verse? That's what I want to know. Any thoughts?
Saying about December last year that happened.
I think it's been before last year, but damn, I mean, they've really stepped it up since 2016.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, it is just getting that fucking ridiculous that, like, with Sargon, Milo, and fucking all those others joining UKIP and all this kind of stuff, they've got me being non-interventionalist now. There's fucking these cunts doing the things the opposite way. They're even saying now that bicycle riders, the law that they have to wear helmets should be overturned now, and they don't have to wear a helmet if they don't want to. So hang on, there was reasons why they put those rules in. Oh well, fuck it. Let the bike assholes kill themselves.
Well, that sounds like the sort of thing to come out of California, where they said, deliberately infecting somebody with AIDS, it's not as bad as it used to be. We're going to reduce it from a felony to a misdemeanor. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to discourage people from reporting that they have AIDS.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
To the normalization of pedophilia in the fucking LGBT community.
That didn't used to be there. I just want to go out and saying it didn't used to be there. That's social justice. Okay, that's these progressive freaks. It's not the gays and lesbians. They weren't pedophiles until they decided to be, LGBT plus. The minute they decided to take that plus on, that plus apparently was pedophilia. Okay, you were idiots for doing it. Cut the ties. Burn that flag with the stupid brown stripe on it.
Yeah, it's you add that plus, you just open up the fucking floodgate to a bunch of undesirable people. Like, you wouldn't believe it, but like you look at Mr. Medicare's videos, and I know lots of people that look at the fucking furry fandom, and then apparently a lot of those fucking sick fucks are a part of the LGBT community. And I've seen screenshots of where people, I don't know if they were troll posts or not what, but they're advocates for necrophilia. Some of these people in the LGBT community are advocates for necrophilia. Like I said, don't quote me on that, but I've seen screenshots.
I'm sure. Well, I mean, it's the infection. It's the progressive postmodern infection. Once it infects your group, the craziest shit happens.
Yeah,
there's plenty of Sheilas out there that I'd still root after they're dead, but only for the first week.
Oh, ouch.
I get back a month later when the maggots are starting to wriggle and jiggle and tickle inside her.
Hey, if you guys didn't notice, we have a guest here.
We do?
Or someone. I don't know if he's a guest or not.
But... I'm not much of a guest. Kind of a regular. What's up, guys?
Hey, Matt Dodge, what's up? How you been?
Oh, internet has taken a shit for 4 hours. I'm on a porch, cell phone, and a headset. So, God save the Queen.
I burned my hand this weekend.
You're gonna have to say that again, R4.
Yeah, you're roboting a little bit, by the way. We know something happened on the porch, and then you had to save a queen.
Yeah.
Oh, is that better, or do
Yeah,
I
that.
leave
Yeah.
and come back?
Oh,
It's
that's better.
F5.
Yeah.
That
It's
sounds better.
F5 R4. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, that's much better.
Any rate, I love this next one. This one, I wish this man was my father. Okay, hold on. Because this is a man of sheer grit and determination. Florida man with no arms charged with stabbing man with scissors. Oh my God, that is a seriously dedicated man. I am so pissed the fact that I have no arms, I will find a way to stab you with my feet.
That would have probably looked spectacular because what I've got in my head is is a unarmed man who's doing roundhouse kicks with holding the scissors between his big and his two toes. That's how I'm
And
imagining
when I
this
see
going
this
down.
guy's picture, I'm like, dude, are you like some sort of secret ninja? I mean, holy crap.
Mm.
Oh, but only Florida man with no arms can kick your ass.
You ever heard of the Florida Man meme?
Oh, yes, we love Florida man around here. Florida man is the
Yeah.
hero we both deserve and need.
Well, yeah, my favorite Florida man is
there's a Twitter page dedicated to posting shit about Florida Man. You look up Florida Man right now, as of right now. This is kind of funny. Florida Man was plotting to burn Jewish neighbors. Police New York Daily News says.
They had it coming.
Mm.
And I'm an Ashkenazi Jew.
Well, my favorite Florida man story, I saw it yesterday. Man chases another man on tractor. A Florida man chases another man on tractor. I mean, amazing. My favorite superhero.
What's that, R2? Timmy fell in the well?
Mr. Roboto, I can't hear you.
Yeah, that was a little bad that time, Mad Dodge, but we get the point.
No, if you can't hear me, I'm just gonna go because I'll keep bringing it up. It seems like.
Well, I mean, try logging out and logging back in once, but if that doesn't clear it up, yeah. Thanks for stopping by, regardless.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody had any question as to whether or not Hillary Clinton had finally gotten insane and was, I don't know, that finally old age was setting in. Hillary Clinton says Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh will bring back slavery.
If only. But even then, slavery was a mistake.
I'm going to need to see her working out on that one.
The way to solve slavery was quite simple. If the federal government stopped paying for it, it would have collapsed on its own. Okay? So, you know, it worked in Brazil. Just stop paying for it and let private citizens have to pay for their own slaves. And suddenly slavery isn't very profitable. But that all said, what did Stephen Hawking say? I didn't quite catch it. Yes. But yeah, she literally accused Judge Brett Kavanaugh of wanting to bring back slavery if confirmed as the nation's highest court.
They should sue for defamation or some shit like that because there was a Supreme Justice I remember because I was watching on Hannity. What was it? Fuck, what was it? The beginning of this week, and one of the judges Reagan wanted to appoint was cock blocked by the Senate and Congress or some shit, and they were literally saying that this man wanted to bring back segregation, and it was like the rhetoric you see now from the Dems was like, it's like, yes, it's amplified compared to what they had in the 80s, but a lot of the scare tactics are very much the same.
Except unlike in the 1980s, when they say something stupid, everybody can hear it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm sorry, but the more that I hear about the Democrats, the more I think unequivocally they're a bunch of bigots. They're a bunch of racist bigots. I mean, they're horrible people.
Well, yeah. You got Antifa calling black cops and Mexican cops niggers and spics. I mean, we're not racist, we're fighting against fascism, while they are calling minorities racial slurs. And it's like people are comparing them to the KKK and Nazis and shit. And as like an alt righter, I have to agree they're using a lot of tactics that fuck, it's
Yeah,
just
well, you're right about them fucking, picking on minorities and all that, especially Antifa. I mean, after all, Nazis are a minority nowadays.
yeah. And
I think there's actually only like 2,000 registered Nazis. And by the way, for the record, when I was in Buffalo, I had to deal with these freaking neo-Nazis because I had a friend of a friend who got caught up in their bullshit. You know what neo-Nazis are? Really? They don't give a shit about politics. They don't give a crap about Mein Kampf. They just like the imagery, and they're just a drug dealer gang. That's it. Neo-Nazis are just drug dealers. Period. End of statement. They don't understand enough about the human language, much less like political bullshit. Okay? They don't sit around trying to do anything controlling the government. They're just drug dealers. Okay, they use neo-Nazism, forcing people to put these stupid tattoos on their body so that you have no choice. No other human being on the planet would accept you socially, so you're stuck with them. That's all it is. It's just an isolation tactic. They're a cult that deals drugs. That's it. Sorry to rant, but they keep talking about Nazis. It's like
better.
slightly better. Any rate, sorry to rant about that, but it's something that always annoys the fuck out of me. Like, they keep going around accusing people of being Nazis. They don't even know what the fuck a neo-Nazi is.
Yeah, well, they keep badgering on fucking Hitler and all that kind of stuff too. I mean, Hitler wasn't such a bad bloke. After all, he did kill Hitler.
Yes, that's true. And no, and I mean, and let's be honest here, okay? Socialism only works under the Dunbar empathy limit, except in one case. There was only one government that actually made socialism work. Whenever anybody wants to talk about how socialism is bad, there's one case. It's called National Socialism, or the Nazi Party, and they managed to get socialism to work somehow. So anytime anybody says socialism is good, I say the only example is of a successful socialist government was the Nazi Party. Okay? We know where that wound up. So is this the hill you want to die on? Okay? But, I mean, he managed to get it to work. So we gotta give him props for his successes. Unfortunately, he did kind of wipe out a third of my family tree. But hey, that happens. All things said and done, I mean, you gotta, good things and bad things are two separate piles. One doesn't cancel out the other. Somebody does something horrible, it's something horrible, and you need to hold them accountable for that, just because they do a bunch of good things. And so everybody you can find something good about. But the fact of the matter is they go straight to Hitler as like the most evil person ever. Really? Okay, because I know eviler people. Pol Pot. Pol Pot ate skin. He ate a human skin. Yeah, I mean...
Pol Pot and millions of people that were killed and fucking just burned bones just piled up, never registered and all that shit.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Jesus fuck. Okay, if you want to pick like evil, there's better examples, but no, it's
Idi Amin.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God. I mean, there's so many better examples of evil, but that's the people we're dealing with. They're so one-dimensional. They don't think about anything. That's the problem. At any rate, by the way, we actually have an article about Rosenstein. You brought it up earlier. House conservatives prep push to impeach Rosenstein. Apparently, the House conservatives would like to just oust Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and they're considering doing an impeachment. Wow. This guy is, I mean, the 12 Russian intelligence officer indictment, what the fuck was he thinking? I mean, you know what I would really love to see, and this would be, I would wherever I was, I would just stand up and start clapping. If Trump talks to Putin and says, hey, Putin, why don't you have those 12 indicted guys actually come to America and defend themselves? Because Rosenstein would shit himself if he actually had, because the first thing they do when they come over is say, we have the right of discovery. Give us everything you have that's indicting us. Because I don't think Rosenstein has jack. I don't think he has one shred of evidence. I think he just pulled 12 names out of a hat and he prays that nobody calls his bluff. Any thoughts?
Are we sure this isn't just someone this isn't someone in the White House just trying to fuck this guy over? Here's all this good shit information. Now go run with that. And while he's standing there fucking making a goose of himself and on telly or something like that, the person who's told him the information is sitting there snickering like a schoolgirl, going, "I'm going to get your ass sacked."
So are you implying that someone is playing Rosenstein like a fiddle, maybe?
Yeah, because there's a lot of senators out there that just say just the most fucking stupidest shit, like that silly bloody Black Sheila a few months ago with that. She's saying about the fucking how forward butt stocks on rifles with 35 round magazine clipazine fucking thingy doodles, and she couldn't even get a simple part of the terminology right. She didn't even know what the fucking muzzle end of a gun was. Like, so someone had to fucking set her up for that. Someone, you can't just
Is
be
that the
that
old
fucking
black lady who
clueless.
looks like an alien
Yeah.
killed her and is wearing her skin?
Yeah, you can't be that fucking clueless on purpose. Someone had to have fucking baited her into that.
I'm assuming so. Any rate, let's move on to Trump baby officially.
That was so fucking overrated for what they thought.
Yeah.
I agree. This is totally overrated, but I'm going to say this, and I got to repeat what I said at the beginning. Trump should have found where this thing was, drove up to it, got out of his limo, and laughed at it. Because it is so cute. It is freaking cute.
Well, what I said when I saw it is, I wish 4chan, instead of using the flame, they should have saved it for the stupid balloon.
I see your
Yeah.
point.
I honestly thought that the Trump balloon was supposed to be way bigger than what it was, and I'd actually would laugh if the Sadiq Khan one was twice the size of it.
You know, I can't get any pictures of the Sadiq Khan one. And the balloon only flew for 2 hours. But I would have thought, if you did that of me, I would have loved every moment of it. Honestly.
Well, I'm gonna read the words my girlfriend once said, and that's it. It only flew for 2 hours for $40. I mean, come on now. What the fuck? That's it.
I'd laugh if Trump ends up acquiring the fucking the balloon and just has it floating out the front of Trump Tower in New York City or some shit like that, just for shits and giggles.
Oh, that would be awesome. Trump, if you hear this, or somebody who is the ear of Trump, find that balloon, buy that balloon at whatever the cost, and then fly it 24/7 in front of Trump Towers just to piss them off. Own it. Own it. Own it. Oh my God. And tell everybody it is powered by the salty tears of my enemies. Ah.
Or when they do buy it,
Sorry, I'm just saying real quick. That's what politics has always been, right? The Republicans thought the elephant or whatever from, the president was holding out and he ended it and he fucking stuck with it, right? The Blues Party and all this other stuff. But that's how the symbols really begin with, right? So he should own it. I agree with you guys.
I reckon he also should do, if they do purchase the balloon and they get it, they should have a little modification to it, like have the mouth open and the speech bubble up the side of his face going ah ha 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 ha, and in his right hand they put a cup with Hillary's tears written on it.
That'd be a nice touch. I think the Hillary's tears would be a nice touch. Ah.
And fly that over Trump Tower.
Well, I don't taxpayer money.
Oh,
I'm
hey!
sitting on the porch. Hi, Cabbage. I was sitting on the porch using my data because my internet's in, and I saw the same cop car police officer drive through my park here 3 times in the last 10 minutes. Shining spotlight and stuff on nobody. And I was looking for Sister Claus. I don't know where to go.
Stephen Hawking's back again.
I was gonna say
it's everything roboting. Yeah, is that what just pure roboting, man?
Yeah, you came back to your Stephen Hawking's. Tell us your theory about how the AIs will destroy us all. Sorry. At any rate. Cabbage, anything real quick about Trump balloon before we move on?
Yeah, well, the Trump balloon, because they managed to fund a Sadiq Khan.
Yeah. What happened over that one?
Within 3 days, they got more money than the Sadiq Khan did in 30 days or whatever.
Oh, because
I think it would be great if because they got like double the money, so they could make 2 balloons and they could actually have a Trump balloon actually, like having Sadiq Khan sucking Trump's dick. Combined balloons.
Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, God.
The Sadiq Khan one's got him in a fucking crouching position anyway, sort of like he's presenting his ass as it is. So, like, all you need to do is just grab the Trump one, just keep batting it into the back of the fucking Sadiq Khan one.
That's it. Maybe you could have a drone for the anal part.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Just because of the sheer stupidity of it. It's such a stupid thing. The balloon is such a stupid thing. Oh, it's so stupid. It's just stupid. It doesn't. It's pathetic. But to take it to the next level.
The thing actually deflated after an hour. They couldn't even, buy one that was functional. The fucking thing deflated after half an hour.
Oh my God.
It was so cheap. Yeah.
Oh, and then they're like, we made our point. Yeah. You made your point. You failed horribly.
Yeah. It was such a puerile gesture to begin with, and it really showed its point. I mean, it's like a soy boy.
Yeah, it's very soy boy.
It is, exactly. You can't even keep it up.
Speaking of soy boy, man jumps out of moving car during argument with his wife, sues her for negligence. An Australian man. That's why I thought of you.
Oh, actually, no, he's not actually Australian. He's a gook.
Oh, he's a gook. Okay, I didn't know that.
He's an immigrant. Okay, so he's adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was getting in an argument and decided at a critical moment that he was going to just jump out of the car, and he's suing her for not slowing down the car before he jumped.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but is he? Yeah, but I mean, is he a metrosexual?
I have no clue from reading this. It should have been included there. What? Because I don't know what his pronouns are. I mean, he's
yeah. I need to know. I need
Ziv,
details.
Zim, Zook. That's why is he a gook? Is that gook? Is that his preferred pronoun? Is that why you said gook? Because that's his pronoun.
Sir.
I think I know why he actually wanted to get out of the car, because there was an Asian female.
The word is cunt.
There was an Asian female driving.
Yeah, come on. Okay, admittedly, yes, it's true. He was probably safer jumping out of the car, but still.
But
Was
he's
she
but he's
trying to
also
reverse park at the time?
he's also pissed off that she didn't, sort of predict that he was actually going to jump and all this. And it's sort of kind of like, yes, you were trusting her to, like, an Asian female driver to do the right thing. It's his own silly fucking fault.
Speaking of their own fault, Mexican police department gets armed with slingshots instead of firearms. Apparently, in the Mexican town of Alvarado, they had failed most of their control tests and were deemed unfit for service. After only 30 officers of the 130-member police department managed to pass their control test with the use of firearms, the governor of the state decided to strip the entire department of firearms and give them slingshots.
Yeah, it's not
But
stop
they
or I'll
finished
shoot. It's stop or I'll fucking sting you with a pebble.
It's all right. They'll be issuing them with butt plugs soon.
I'm serious. It's just like, dude, just go over, just say, okay, drug dealers, you win. You win. I'm gonna have to go up against guys with like bazookas. The drug dealers probably already got lasers from China. Okay?
Mm.
And then I'm going up against him with a slingshot. This is a parody come to life where it's like never bring a slingshot to a laser fight. That's what you're gonna have in Mexico. Oh my God, they're so overrun by socialism.
Yeah, but no, it's more like storm. What is it? Troopers.
Super
Fucking-
Troopers.
Yeah, super troopers.
Police
Yeah.
Academy.
Yeah.
This is socialism. This is your police department on socialism. Any questions?
Any complaints?
Does have a cool control?
Any complaints? Address the Soil and Green Department.
Soil and Green. For
And
people, by people, from people.
And they're even standing there trying to look macho with slingshots in their holsters. I'd be just like, okay, I'm going home now. Hi.
Don't have a count,
Yeah, but
man.
come on. Yeah, but come on. That was like when, where was it? In California somewhere, they ended up putting police on fucking, what are those, stupid little scooter things?
Segways.
Segways, yeah. You got Segway police officers. Fuck me.
And there's hours of fucking footage of them just falling flat in their fucking faces with them too.
It's that sad.
Stop or
you
I'll
put 'em
roll
on
at you at a
fucking roller
brisk pace.
skates. Yeah, just give them skateboards. Fucking hell. I mean, it's really that sad.
Dennis Leary did a big old spiel about bicycle cops fucking years ago in his lock and load thing.
Yeah,
He's saying shit about like, yeah, those poor silly cunts that have to ride the bikes, man. Your family were cops, your brothers were cops, you join the cops and they go, right, here's a badge and a bicycle. You want a siren? Make it with your mouth.
Well, actually, that kind of work in like San Francisco where you go, woo, 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 woo. You'll fit right in with all the other.
Yeah.
Woo, woo. I mean, you can hear that all the time just from like most of the bars.
Yeah. What are you suggesting? There's a lot of backslapping going on in San Francisco. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm flat out stating it. Yes. Yes,
That
it's true.
that was from Eddie Murphy's Hilarious, the follow-up from Delirious. He's talking about the previous one. He's like, I can't talk about the poofters anymore because the gay guys, they're following me everywhere. You see them at the airport. It's like, yes, that's him. Yes, I recognize that ass anywhere. And then you see them coming down the road and they're like, woo, woo, woo. And that's not a siren. That's a poof hanging out the window going, woo, woo.
That I was saying this to somebody earlier on. It's so funny though how many comedians are coming out, and these were the progressive comedians. They kind of created the political correctness and everything, and they're now bitching about the fact that they haven't got a career anymore because they can't get a gig. And it's like, yeah, you know why? Because you fucking pumped out this shit, 20 years ago.
Speaking of,
here's the fucking chickens coming home to roost.
Monty
How do
Python.
you like it?
Monty
John
Python.
Cleese.
Oh yeah, that's the next one. Monty Python fights back against PC culture, called BBC's diversity push, social engineering. Guess what, John Cleese? You made it. This is you guys. You pushed all this bullshit, and guess what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And the thing is, I love that John Cleese interview where he was on the he's on the BBC and Newsnight, I think it was, and he's saying that he's fucking off to the Caribbean. You know, because I mean, it's a Caribbean island. I mean, it's basically it's just for the rich and famous. So I mean, he's got a perfectly comfortable life and everything. But he was one of the cunts who was pushing all the shite to begin with. You know, the same way as like Ben Elton. You know.
Mm.
And now they whine that they can't get a gig. It's like, well, why can't we say what we want to say? Well,
but this is just like social justice. They come in, they're like locusts, they destroy the place, and then everything turns to shit, they leave. And then they're going to push their exact same stupid ideas wherever they wind up, and it's going to be a shithole again. Wherever they go, it's going to be a shithole. Okay? But you're the problem. Why does every place I go to turn into a shithole? Well, maybe it's because you're a shitty person. I'm just saying. That's just me. Call me kooky. But, oh, God, you're right. No, I have to agree with you 100%. This is what's been going on. They did, and now it's all coming back to bite them in the ass. Because they were so progressive.
Yeah.
So progressive.
And yeah, but this is the thing. But what really gets me is that they're then bitching about the fact that they can't get gigs. I mean, John Cleese moans about the fact that he doesn't have any money, but most of that's because he ended up marrying a bunch of fucking slack twats anyway, and ended up with alimony or whatever. So he ended up chucking his money away, and then he tries to go and do a gig, and he can't get any, any slots because he's a bit too edgy. I mean, look at Seinfeld, or I mean, even Crowder. Sorry, not Crowder. God, who's the guy? The guy who sold out, the one who went over to do the Tonight Show or whatever.
The Stephen Colbert.
Colbert.
Yeah, Colbert, right? I mean, he totally sold out, and even he, he's having problems. Even fucking Bill Maher fucking moans about it. I mean, of all the people, right? And he is exactly the kind of cunt that caused the problem in the first place. It's like, good, you can't get a gig. You made your bed, lie in it, you dick.
Speaking of, hold on. You're going to love this one. Hold on 1 second. Papa John's founder, John Schnatter, resigns as chairman after apologizing for the N-word comment. Now, here's the funny thing about this. He was doing a group phone call where he said, we don't want to have, racism around here. If we hear somebody use the word nigger, we got to fire that person. That's the context. He was complaining about people using the word nigger on the job. And so because he said it on the job, he had to lose his job.
Yeah, wasn't this as a result of one of the delivery drivers bum dialing their previous customer, and while he was talking to another bloke, and they'd actually given him a pretty decent tip and everything like that, but then the two delivery guys were having the conversation. It's like, oh, what was that last one like? It's bloody tight ass niggers or something like that.
That might have been the case. I didn't hear that part. It sounds about right, but I just don't understand why the chairman has to quit because he said saying the word nigger's bad. That's what he said.
Yeah,
that's basically what he said.
If the drivers, he wouldn't have had that conversation if the drivers didn't say it first,
Yeah, but had the drivers or not said it, it wouldn't have mattered, right? I mean, if he just gone into,
but he basically apologized for racism.
Said, we will not allow people to say niggers anymore, and yeah, exactly. I mean, it's but this is not the first one. There was another one, like.
Oh yeah, there was another one. I forget. I didn't find that one, but I heard about it and I know what you're talking. This is like there's two cases. They're almost identical. They're just pretty stupid shit like this where he's saying he's sorry for being racist, but he wasn't being racist. Racism
Exactly.
requires you to be racist against a human being.
Yeah.
Saying,
He
don't,
didn't call anyone a nigger.
you know, what if I want to identify as a nigger? I want to be a nigger eldritch god. Okay, I want to be a horror from beyond the pale that's black. Is that so wrong? Maybe I find being called nigger a compliment. You know?
Yeah.
That's just me. You know?
Well,
Got big nigger
you're
tentacles.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny with the whole thing about racism and all this. The Aboriginals in Australia are really fucking uppity about it. As far as they're concerned, every cunt's racist except for them. And they shit on the white people all the time. I was speaking to this Sheila the other day, and I mentioned something about stupid Americans, and she goes, "That's racist." And I went, "No, we are a multicultural society now. I can take the piss out of anybody I feel." She didn't fucking like that.
Yeah, but also America.
Yeah, we're not a
America's
race.
not a
America
race
isn't a
anyway,
race.
Same way.
I know.
I
And apart from the fact they're Anglo-Saxons, which means I'm being racist to my own fucking kind, so she can go fuck herself.
Exactly. In actual fact, you're self-hating if you
Mhm.
don't have therapy.
we're not a race. Dear God, help us if we ever became a race. No, being American's an attitude. It's an attitude. That's what it is.
Exactly. It's
We
like
don't
being
have any
British.
culture.
The
We
very
just have an
same way.
attitude.
Yeah, which is why Aussies are, they're solid, and the Kiwis and stuff. Because we all have kind of like an outlook, right? There's an outlook on life, like you said, attitude, outlook, whatever you want to call it. Perspective.
No, I do say there's some
And
cultures
most of
that
it
have
includes
culture.
not being blown up by fucking crazies shouting out Allah Akbar.
Alan Snack Bar.
Yes.
Aloha snack bar.
Alan
Take beer.
Snack Bar. I'm going
Take
to
beer.
create
Snack
an
bar.
Alan Snack Bar. I need the advertising.
Well, we do have Alan's lollies, and they do have the whole big shelves in supermarkets called Snack Bar, or Alan's Snack Bar. So
Oh, I think we already went over this one.
Free promotion.
That this is Trump declared July 15th through 21st as Captive Nations Week. And so we need to talk about all the people who have been stripped of their dignity by authority governments across the world, like Canada, the UK, and any country that's a prisoner in the EU. So I just wanted to take a moment to say, for all those countries that are oppressed, our heart goes out to you from here in America.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we suffered under the Romans, It wasn't easy.
Damn, those
us Scottish
Italians.
suffered under the British too, Yeah, us Scottish suffered under the British too, so yeah, we're downtrodden.
See? Everyone's got a fucking axe to grind, haven't they?
Mm.
Give me a second.
But then again, we also had the Germans, we had the French, we had the fucking Dutch, we had Spanish. I mean, there's been no end of pains in the arse. Also the Vikings, of course.
Oh, we went over this one earlier, but you don't want to bring it up officially. Woman charged with attempted murder after 91-year-old beaten with a brick. And as you said earlier, the Young Turks blew up on this, saying that this is Trump's fault, that Trump's the one who beat up this 91-year-old, Mexican. And then it turns out it was just an overprivileged, feminist twat. So
Maybe she was just doing what my Serbian mate used to do in Belgrade. He used to go and try and sell tourists a house brick, and when they refused to buy it, he'd smack them over the fucking head with it and ask them for $10 again. And when they finally gave him the $10, he'd give him the brick and walk away. They'd look at the brick, put it down, and then fucking walk away from the brick. So me mate would just go back, grab the brick, and go and fucking back up to him. Buy this brick for $10. No, smack. Buy this brick for $10. No, smack, buy this brick for $10. All right, fine. Fucking, here you go. Here's your brick. Thanks for the $10.
there's a metaphor in there somewhere. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I can't see where it is. It just sounds
Serbian
like
entrepreneurialism.
Yeah, but if the brain damage had already been caused to the first attack, then it really doesn't work after that. See?
I do want to say this though. Rodriguez, the Mexican guy, he said, "May God forgive her for what she did to me." I like this guy. He's like 91 years old, gets the shit beat out of him. He's like, no, there's no point. 91 years old. It's too old to give a shit. May God forgive her what she did. And just moves on with his life. That is a nice old man. Ah.
And then Karma comes and bites him in the ass and makes him fucking cunt. Karma comes and bites him in the ass and makes him live another 20 years.
But that's what they depend on, right? These people is people be actually being nice, right? That's how these cunts, who are these social, everyone else has to be nice, and they can be total, absolute twats. And then somebody says, "Oh well, we're gonna be nice to these people." No, fuck them.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Don't be nice to this bitch. Burn her.
No.
29 years in jail is not enough.
Yeah. At least, attach some electrodes to some kind of extremity.
The unfortunate part about it is that she'll end up getting less time than that.
She'll probably enjoy the electrodes.
Yeah,
it's the only stimulation she'll get.
Probably got nipple clamps already.
Give the rest of the Sheilas extra broom handles.
Meanwhile, UK police search for paraglider who flew over Trump resort. Trump well below par, #resist. And this guy flew over with his paragliding inflatable something or other. I gotta admit, okay, Trump well below par. That's a pretty good pun. I mean, other than you probably put people's lives at risk if you accidentally screwed up and crashed into them, but otherwise, okay,
No, I think the only person whose life was put at risk was the paraglider, because, I mean, you think about it, the Secret Service would have shot him out of the fucking sky if he was a threat.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been quite funny.
That would have been funny if they... Pull!
Exactly, yeah, pull.
Or they just...
They shot him down with a drone.
Oh, that would have been great.
Fucking Predator drone hits him in the hellfire.
Drone just pulls up next to him, and they actually have a little robot inside it that gives it a wave, and then goes upside down. Gives it the full, the full top gun.
No. It just says "Have a nice day" written on the side of it.
That's it. Yeah, fuck you very much.
And I think we'll wrap up on this next one because I think this is the future, and we should look to the future. World's most cloned dog has 49 copies of itself.
Oh, God,
Miracle Millie, a 6-year-old Chihuahua from Puerto Rico, was awarded the title of world's most cloned dog after scientists in South Korea created a whopping 49 genetically identical copies of her.
Yeah, and have you seen what a freakish dog it is? It looks like it's got thyroid problems. It's like Marty Feldman.
That dog looks like it's about to pee on itself. Every moment of its life, like it is that stressed out. It is like a dog that has been genetically designed with permanent caffeine.
Yeah, no. It'll only get impressive when they clone one that can actually say "Ikiro Taco Bell."
Oh, that'd be funny if they spliced in a little bit extra into them so they could start a little parrot DNA so they could start speaking. Box. Oh, I would pay to have a cat that had a voice box. Because I have a cat that has thumbs. I do. I have a cat that has a thumb. He's got extra toes and it turned into a thumb on his forehand. So he can grip things and he can twist things open. My cat has thumbs, so I wanted to have a voice box and thumbs. You could start it just dissing people because he's an orange cat. They look like Garfield.
No, sorry, I can't trust any man that has a cat. I don't trust cat men.
I go after all the sick ones. I got a blind cat too.
Matter.
I've got 2 rescues.
Well, I don't care. It's just cat men. I just don't trust them.
Well, I'm 0.4% Jew as well, so you definitely shouldn't trust me.
Yeah. See. Yeah, you're not appealing to me right now.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Well, I didn't think we were trying to fucking crack onto you either.
Well, yeah,
anyway.
No, he's Jewish, they're freaky. They get into all kinds of weird things.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
rescue
Father.
dying kittens. That's my thing.
Yeah, crippled ones, so you can abuse them. I know what you get up to, you sick bastard. You and your Kabbalist clan.
Hey, we never, ever, ever sacrifice the cat. Much.
Yeah, not until you have to, right? Not until it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, and I'm with you. You had to forgive her lest he be a misogynist. What is it? I mean, I'm serious. I'm surprised this isn't happening more. That's my only surprise. I'm not surprised it happened. I'm surprised it's not happening more. When you ramp up abuse, and you know, the illusion of abuse. There's no actual abuse, but you keep telling people you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. One of two things happen. Either A, they realize you're full of shit, and they finally just break down due to all the stress and just say, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Or every little thing sets them off. And you get the leg brush incident that results in a waitress getting stabbed to death because she obviously racistly brushed her leg. Or you get, you know, some woman beating the shit out of a 91-year-old man because he was oppressing her with the patriarchy. How? By being 91 years old. And reminding me of my father who wasn't there for me. You know, I'm sorry. People need to get a reality check. This
No, it
moral
is.
panic is just off the charts.
Well, it is. And the weird thing is, you know, you were saying about this idea that you're going to get, you know, the oppression thing. Actually, you get to the point where it's like, well, people think, well, okay, you know, I'm meant to be the oppressor, so I'll adopt the oppressor perspective, right? So that they will become an oppressor. Because it's kind of like they see it as you know, their duty.
Well, yeah.
That's what they, you know, they're meant to do, right?
Actually, you may not have been here for this part, but I'm going with my grandfather told me a traitor has nothing to lose by committing treason.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, if you're accused of something, I mean, it's like the old saying, right? You may as well be hung for a sheep instead of a lamb, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, you know, but I think that was a phrase invented by a Welshman. Strange people are Welsh. But anyway, yeah, the principle stands.
Oh, well.
You know, so, I mean, why not, right? I mean, if you're going to be accused of it anyway, you may as well do it.
Yeah, at least there's an element of truth to the matter.
Mm.
Well, I think I don't think that's going to happen wholesale, but you're
I'd
starting
rather
to
be
see it happening.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. It's starting to happen, and it's accelerating. And the reason it's accelerating is because of the, you know, that perspective is, you know, everybody is like this. You know, you must be like this, and if you're not like that, then and other people adapt to that or adopt it, then you also get peer groups and things like that. So, you know, the things kind of snowballs. I mean, you get an initial reaction, and then it's going to get bigger very quickly. You see acceleration in these things, especially with social media and the way it makes it easier for people to, you know, propagate these kind of messages. So you're going to get a bunch more misogynists. I mean, this is how misandry got so fucking common. You know?
Anyway, anything from
misandry.
Hold on a sec. Anything from Banner?
I'm sorry. It's I'm just tired. It's like.
Oh yeah, no. I just wanted to give you a chance to get some final words in.
The only thing I have to say is it's been a crazy week as always, and I look forward to, you know, more mayhem next week. It seems like every week is like a fucking trip through the funhouse on a roller coaster ride. It never ends.
No, actually, I get your point. I think it really needs to get worse before it'll get better. I think people are only just now starting to notice how crazy shit is. Because I've had this happen at work where I've had somebody come up to me with something that I've known for like months and going, did you know about fill in the blank, something that's from 6 months ago? Yeah. And then I fill in all the details and she's like, how did you know about this? I just heard about it. No, that's like 6 months old. And it's just now starting to trickle out.
Mate, that's exactly what I was saying about these comedians who are now feeling the, you know, the cause and effect of their, you know, their comedy careers. You know, it's what makes it funny. It's kind of there's a distinct element of irony to it.
Oh, and I
But
love
by
it.
the way,
I love
yeah,
it.
what happened to this guy? What happened to this guy? You know, the neo-Nazi or whatever he is, white supremacist guy. I was looking forward to that.
Oh,
Oh,
the Tommy Robinson.
Count Dankula.
No, are you talking about that candidate guy?
Yeah, like what's his name? Someone Little. Or,
Yeah, we're working. We're smashing out the details and private messages and whatnot.
Oh.
We're thinking of tomorrow. Nothing's official though. Mad Dodge and him just need to figure out something. But aside from that, we're hopefully gonna get something arranged tomorrow, but nothing's official yet. So, Mad Dodge would be the one that would know what's going on. So,
Gotcha. Oh, by the way, for the UK, that Mr. Mogg, that Mogg guy, I love him. That Mogg guy is awesome.
Oh, yes, Reese Mogg.
Oh, I love Reese Mogg. Oh, I like Reese Mogg. That guy has got panache. That guy's got nerves of steel. He looks like he's like 90 pounds soaking wet. But man, he just sits there and like, no, let me explain in cold logic exactly why you're stupid. Oh, I love him. He's amazing.
The weird thing is, you think that he's actually a small guy, right? He's about 6'2".
Oh, really?
When you actually see it. Yeah.
He looks like he's like a. He looks like he's a. You know.
I know.
Like he's 90 pounds soaking wet. But man, he's like ruthless. He is ruthless. I love listening to him. He's like, no, let's be honest, because he knows everything. They people, and he says, actually, let me correct you on your base facts, and then he like tells them everything that the person screwed up. Now then, using the truth instead of your screwed up perception. Oh, I love Mogg. Mogg is great.
Oh yeah,
PM Mogg.
I think Mogg is. I think he's like the last statesman that we have left. I mean, there's nobody else that really has that, like you say, the style. I've been saying this for a long time, is that he's kind of like he's the last bastion.
Yeah, he is, and he's also so British. He is perfect British. I'm like, dude. See, that's the difference between you guys and us. See, in America, when I say we have an attitude, we have an attitude. You have culture. The reason why America works and the EU doesn't is because the EU has culture, but they don't have an attitude. We got rid of our culture. We understand culture gets in the way of profit. So we just have the attitude. So when you come to America, you got to have the attitude. Otherwise, get the fuck out. That's all we got. We only got the attitude.
Yes. But that's why Winston Churchill said that we are not European. We are in Europe, but we're not of Europe. Okay, I mean, he made that quite clear. I mean, this is the reason we can have the attitude as well. We can have the culture, but with the attitude. You know, we earned our culture.
Yeah, no, that's true. In America, we just kind of have this blah, but it's okay. It works for us. You know, we just accept the blah. But the problem is we've stopped accepting the blah. We've stopped losing the attitude, and now nobody's allowed to have attitude anymore. That's the problem. America without its attitude doesn't work.
I don't know. I don't think that's the case, because I think that's the whole point about why Donald Trump's there, because he is pure attitude. You know, I mean, I think you actually.
Oh, he's bringing back the attitude. He's bringing it back.
Maybe it's a dying breath. You know, maybe.
Well, we'll have to see. I think it's returning. We'll see. We'll see. November will tell. But come November, the Republicans get voted out of office in the midterms, then that's the sign that he is the dying breath. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because
I think he'll get a second term.
Oh, I think we're going to midterm elections is going to swing his way, and I think he's going to get a second term. I don't know about whether the second midterms are going to go his way, but still, it's going to be impressive. It's going to be an interesting 6 years. I'm going to tell you that. At any rate, anything else anybody wants to rant about before we wrap things up? Because it's 2:30.
2:30? Are you bitching? It's like 7:30 in the morning here.
It's 4:30 in the
I
afternoon.
have to wait up for you every fucking time. It's always so late. Why can't you do something at an earlier hour? Are you on the west? Are you on the West Coast? Aren't you? That's
because he's.
My job is when I do the streaming. soon as everybody leaves. The problem is that they've got this new coworker who's hanging around milking the system. He's supposed to leave at 10. He stays until like midnight. And he freaks me out. He's really freaky. Like every time anybody stays late, weird shit starts happening around here. Like the last time this happened, medication started disappearing. Since this guy's been hanging out, we've had clients' money disappearing. Okay? Oh, and as soon as that bitch left and went to Arizona, the drugs stopped missing. Huh. What coinky dink. But, you know, when these people start hanging out late, bad shit happens. And I keep telling management, don't let people stay late. If it's 10 o'clock, they're supposed to get out, kick them out. And that's not just because I don't want them around. That's because they get into shit. But
They have video cameras everywhere these days. I mean,
oh, no, that'd be a violation of the client's rights.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah, I'm in
Unless
New
it's
York.
useful.
New York is not quite as progressive as California, but we're trying.
Yeah, that's not something to aspire to.
It's not. It's not. Any rate, I guess we'll wrap it up here then. Anyway, it's been real and it's been fun. I think it's been real fun, especially with Robo Dodge here. Any last words before we head out? Anybody else want to say goodbye or anything?
Yeah.
Sweet dreams, I guess.
Well, don't give up on Britain. We are still here, and we are still proud of our identity. And
No, I meant like literally sweet dreams, because like come 10 minutes from now, I'm probably gonna fall asleep.
By the way, Cabbage, this is my image of what Brexit is like. It's like that scene from Lord of the Rings where Frodo's hanging on by the edge, and below you is this lava that has the EU symbol on it, and America is saying, "Take my hand! Don't let go! Don't you let go! Don't do it!
Frodo,
You don't
I'd
give
kick
up!"
I'd kick Frodo in the ring over the edge. Take them both down. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
I know what
That's,
you
that's oddly specific. You're going to kick Frodo in his ring.
Yeah, well, I kick Frodo with his ring, not in his ring.
How do you kick someone with their ring?
He had the ring in his hand. So he was in possession of his precious.
He's a pragmatic.
Any
Anyway,
of you play Rainbow Six Siege at all?
no, my computer wouldn't take it.
Because like supposedly, like they're going hardcore SJW. According to a thread I see on poll right now, there's a thread between the official Rainbow Six Siege Twitter and a user.
Yeah, that's the reason.
The user I can't even pronounce it, but he says, at Rainbow Six game, fuck you guys. I just got a ban for saying Nibba in chat, Nibba, and they say good. Then someone by the name of Best Kill says, banning people for saying nigga on an M-rated game. Glad to see you're focusing on real issues. Rainbow Six game replies, fighting against fuck, I can't pronounce it, and cleaning up the siege environment. Quit
Toxic
making
masculinity.
No, it has a city at the end. Toxicity. I don't know if that.
Toxicity.
Okay. And cleaning up the siege environment is a very real and important issue. So
Yeah, but come on. I mean,
Their name is Rainbow Six. Isn't it a show about like 6 gay guys or something?
Yeah, but don't forget. I mean, this is the. Yeah, you remember the what was it? The you know. The trapping of people, and it was a complete fucking rigged thing. They were actually their own abusers. You know, you remember?
Oh
that?
yeah, no. Oh yeah. What is that? The bully hunters?
Yeah, the bully hunters, exactly. It's the same, you know, it's like what they're going to turn bully hunters right. So now that you end up banning your own, so nobody's going to buy that game anymore. This is the reason I won't upgrade my computer, because there isn't a fucking game I want to buy anymore. I'd rather go back and play, you know, Far Cry 3, you know, than invest in any of the new shit, because I mean, what's in it? I mean,
yeah. Well, I think that's what we have to do.
I don't give a shit, whether I shoot a black dude or I shoot a white dude. I mean, it's the mission that's the point. It has absolutely fuck all to do with the color of the skin of them. I mean, it could be a green, fucking blob for all I care.
Oh, that's one.
Just shooting something to get to the end of my mission.
You reminded me of something real quick here. Don't buy anything for Star Wars or Star Trek until they finally break. Okay, because that's the way we're gonna win. You're right. Stop buying the shit. Stop. If it's shit, don't buy it. Don't give them a dime.
Yeah.
Don't give them a mention. Don't give them a review. Don't give them attention. Okay? They die in darkness. Shun them.
Yep.
Okay? That's and the more we shun them, every little bit of shunning counts. They will finally go, wait a minute. Suddenly, acting like assholes is not making us money.
Well, the thing is, they won't be able to fund the cost of these, these social justice people who are killing their businesses. I mean, all of the people in the human resource department will suddenly find themselves out of a fucking job.
So for the good of all genres, Star Trek and Star Wars must die. I'm sorry.
Yep. Well,
they must.
Well,
it has to. It has to. We must kill it.
Star Trek should have been dead anyway. I mean,
it'll be dead anyways, but we must hasten its death. The sooner it dies, the better. The sooner it may be reborn in 20 years. Anyway, we'll wrap it up here. It's been real and it's been fun. I think it's been real fun. Any last comments before I hit the close button?
Boobies.